Smell that? No, not that. The pleasant smell. The one that comes after a first rain long overdue. That, my friends, is called Petrichor. And as original as the word is, so is this game. You'll manipulate weather, clouds, and raindrops to grow crops and score points. You'll do so with a hand of cards depicting the four weather. You'll play these cards for its main effect here, which range from adding raindrops and clouds, moving them, and making it rain lightly. Once played, you'll also have to vote on any one of the weather icons on the card played, or lower a die by 1 for 1 VP, or 2 should you lower it to its harvest side. Then the active player has to choose to do another action, but costing him double the cards or end their turn. Game also has a great way to mitigate the cards you've got by allowing you to discard 2 of them to make it become any one weather card. It's all clear skies and sunshine, right? Sunshine? Sun is shining. Wrong. We have to metal this review up and make it. Clouds will contain raindrops on them. Reach for and you'll add a lightning bolt. Now it's a cloud. 2 clouds meet, place the raindrop from the moved one onto the other, and now it's a cloud. Cloud has 8 or more raindrops on it, it'll drop its payload.
Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face.
Whoa, that wasn't metal at all. But you would be smiling, especially if your raindrops make the majority of the tile. If ever a tile has a total of this many raindrops, it'll grow. Tiles would then give you this many points whenever there is a harvest phase, determined when all harvest dice shows the harvest side. To help this process along, besides the cards played, the 2 predominant weather that had the most votes will trigger, not only performing certain effects different from the cards, but also giving the player who put the most votes on it extra endgame victory point by moving up this track here. If a harvest happens, score the points, remove the raindrops, and re-roll the harvest dice. Round marker moves up, deal new cards. Some might have extra if they kept up to 4 cards the previous round, and your new round begins with the current first player. This would have changed going to the first player passing or being moved. At the end of the game, you'll get extra points from this track, and the player who got the most wheat tokens scores an extra 12 points. Players with the most is Thor, the god of... well, not really, but he wins. Petrichor comes off as a pretty light pop game, but it does have some bite to it in terms of tactics and strategy. Definitely not a heavy game, but it's more on the hard rock side of it, if you permit me the musical analogy. Mechanics are pretty easy to understand as you bop your head to the beat, but when you start listening to the lyrics, you start to realize it's got some meaning. The playing cards phase is kind of a setup for the weather phase. Some of those actions will have massive effects. In essence, the first phase is like you're playing harp. No, not the musical instrument. I mean HARP, the governmental program. You know, that tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that believes the government manipulates the weather? So you'll have some sway when playing cards, but what weather will trigger every round will depend on how everyone voted. Of course, some votes will have been used to lower the harvest die instead. So there's a lot of things to consider on your turn with not a lot of AP, and we like that. The art and components are really nice, if not a little too clinical for me, especially making the 5th player pawns white and clear in the flowers expansion. What happened, guys? You threw a party, invited Mr. Clean, and he threw up all over the game? Speaking of party, the game is best played at 3 or 4. We tried at 2, but it didn't have the same feel. But it's a very interesting game. It's an original theme and will have a lot of replay value as you figure out the depth to it. And for even more complexity, there's even a draft variant, and as we said, the Flowers expansion adds new tiles and some more mechanics. We highly recommend Petrichor. It scores an 8 out of 10.